The mining colony on Europa wasn't much to look at. A collection of reinforced domes and underground facilities that housed 5,000 souls, all dedicated to harvesting the moon's precious rare earth elements. Captain Sarah Chen never expected it to become humanity's first battleground among the stars. The attack came without warning. 3 crystalline ships, their surfaces refracting Jupiter's light like massive diamonds, emerged from fold space directly above the colony. The automated defense systems, which most colonists had considered a waste of resources, activated instantly. Sarah watched from the command center as railgun rounds streaked through the void, most glancing harmlessly off the ship's energy shields. "Multiple boarding craft detected," announced Lieutenant Rodriguez, his fingers dancing across the haptic interface. "They're targeting the main dome and processing facility." Sarah nodded, her augmented neural interface already processing tactical data. "Initiate protocol avalanche, and get me a direct line to Earth Command." The aliens, as they would later learn, were scouts from the Nexus Alliance, a coalition of species that viewed newly spacefaring races as easy targets for resource extraction. They expected to find a primitive colony, defended by basic weapons and untrained civilians. Instead, they found themselves facing the fruits of humanity's paranoid preparation. Armored bulkheads slammed shut throughout the facility as automated defense turrets emerged from hidden compartments. The colony's civilian population, each having undergone mandatory emergency training, moved with practiced efficiency to designated shelter areas. But it was the response team that truly shocked the invaders. From sealed bunkers came the Aegis units, powered armor suits that represented the pinnacle of human military technology. Sarah watched through their helmet feeds as her soldiers engaged the alien boarders. The invaders, tall crystalline beings with 4 arms and advanced energy weapons, found themselves outmaneuvered in the confined spaces of the colony. "They expected sheep," Sarah muttered, watching as her teams executed perfect breach and clear maneuvers. They found wolves instead. The battle lasted 3 hours. The aliens, despite their technological superiority, hadn't prepared for such fierce resistance. Their boarding parties were systematically eliminated or captured, their ships damaged by increasingly accurate railgun fire as the defense AI learned from each engagement. When the last alien vessel retreated into fold space, Sarah finally allowed herself to breathe. The colony had held, but she knew this was just the beginning. Humanity's first contact had come in the form of raiders, and that would shape everything that followed. Earth Command's response arrived shortly after. "Captain Chen, your actions have given us vital intelligence about potential threats. Maintain defensive posture. The 7th Fleet is en route." And Captain, well done. You've just written the first page of humanity's next chapter. Sarah looked out at Jupiter's massive form through the command center's reinforced windows. The gas giant's eternal storms seemed fitting now, a reminder that the universe was vast, violent, and uncaring. But humanity had survived its own worst impulses, its own destructive tendencies, and emerged stronger. Now those hard-learned lessons would serve them well among the stars. In the following days, as Earth's military mobilized and diplomatic channels buzzed with activity, Sarah found herself wondering about the aliens' reaction. They had come expecting easy prey, a primitive species ripe for exploitation. Instead, they'd encountered a civilization that had never stopped preparing for the worst, even as it hoped for the best. The medical bay was filled with both human wounded and captured aliens. Dr. Patel had managed to establish basic communication through universal translation algorithms that had been developed precisely for this scenario. The prisoners seemed genuinely puzzled by human preparedness. "Your kind has barely reached your system's moons," one of them stated through the translator. "Yet you have weapons that rival established spacefaring races. Why?" Sarah thought about humanity's long history of conflict, of the countless wars that had shaped their development. "Because we learned long ago that peace isn't just wished for, it's prepared for. Every human colony, every outpost, every ship we build carries the lessons written in our ancestors' blood." The aliens' crystalline features shifted in what might have been understanding. The Nexus Alliance will not ignore this defeat. We're counting on it, Sarah replied, her neural interface already processing new tactical scenarios. Tell your leaders this. Humanity doesn't want war, but we've spent our entire history preparing for it. If the Alliance wants to test us further, they'll find we're full of surprises. As news of the Europa incident spread throughout Earth's colonies, military production accelerated. Hidden shipyards in the asteroid belt, maintained for decades just in case, began launching vessels that combined human ingenuity with hard-learned combat doctrine. The Nexus Alliance had unwittingly awakened a sleeping giant, not a primitive civilization, but one that had never stopped expecting threats from beyond the stars. Sarah Chen would later be remembered as the commander who fought humanity's first interstellar battle. But as she coordinated with Earth Command and watched her troops drill for the conflicts to come, she knew this was just the beginning. Humanity had passed its first test among the stars not through luck, but through preparation, determination, and an unwavering will to survive. The universe would soon learn that Earth's children came not as conquerors or victims, but as equals ready to defend their place among the stars, no matter the cost. 3 months after the Europa incident, Commander Maya Patel stood on the bridge of the UES Shadowhawk, watching distant stars through a view screen that shouldn't exist. The stealth vessel represented humanity's response to the Nexus Alliance's superior technology, not trying to match it, but to sidestep it entirely. Quantum signature masked, gravitational footprint nullified, reported Lieutenant Zhang from his station. We're as invisible as current physics allows, Commander. The Shadowhawk wasn't supposed to be possible. The Nexus Alliance's intelligence suggested humans were decades away from developing quantum masking technology. They were right, which was why humanity had developed something entirely different instead. Status on Target Alpha? Maya asked, her neural interface processing streams of data from the ship's sensors. The Alliance mining facility is operating at full capacity, Zhang responded. No indication they've detected us. Their defense grid is still focused on conventional threats. The facility hung in space before them, a massive structure of crystalline spires and energy conduits that processed asteroid ore for the Alliance. It was also, according to intelligence gathered from the Europa attackers, a forward staging point for further incursions into human space. Maya allowed herself a small smile. The Alliance had expected humanity to respond with brute force, massive warships, and obvious military buildup. Instead, Earth Command had chosen a different path. While the Alliance watched for fleet movements and monitored known shipyards, the real response had taken shape in secret. Deploy the Whispers, Maya ordered. From the Shadowhawk's specialized launch tubes came dozens of small, dark objects barely larger than human torsos. The Whispers were another example of humanity's lateral thinking, not advanced AI drones or powerful weapons, but something far simpler and more elegant. Whispers are on course, Zhang confirmed. 0 energy signatures detected. They're completely passive, just as designed. The devices drifted toward the facility, riding the natural gravitational currents of space. They looked like debris, moved like debris, and to all Alliance scanning technology, they were debris. The perfect Trojan horse. Maya watched through encrypted feeds as the Whispers reached the facility's outer processing zones. The Alliance's automated systems dutifully collected what appeared to be useful asteroidal material, bringing the devices inside their security perimeter. Phase 1 complete, Maya noted. Initiate Phase 2. Deep within each Whisper, quantum processors powered up. Not the advanced quantum computers the Alliance used, but simplified versions that operated on different principles. The facility's systems, designed to detect known forms of computational activity, remained quiet. We have access to their network, Zhang reported, his voice tight with controlled excitement. The biomimetic processors are interfacing successfully. Alliance security protocols don't recognize the architecture. Maya nodded. Human computer scientists had studied biological neural networks for centuries. While the Alliance pursued ever more sophisticated quantum systems, humanity had found inspiration in the simple elegance of organic computing. "Download everything," she ordered, "and initiate the secondary protocol." The Whispers began their real work, subtly altering the facility's production parameters. Nothing obvious, just small changes in efficiency, tiny variations in output quality. By the time the Alliance realized something was wrong, their reputation for reliability would be severely damaged. "Commander," John called out, "I'm seeing something interesting in their tactical databases. They're not just planning raids. The Alliance is preparing for full-scale invasion of human space." Maya's expression hardened. "Copy everything. Earth Command needs to see this." The operation continued for 6 hours. The Whispers gathered intelligence, planted false data, and introduced subtle errors into the facility's operations. When they finally received the signal to self-destruct, they did so by simply dissolving into their component minerals, indistinguishable from normal processing waste. As the Shadowhawk prepared to return to Earth space, Maya reviewed the preliminary data. The Alliance had vastly underestimated human capabilities, but more importantly, they had fundamentally misunderstood human nature. "They think we're primitive because we don't use their technology," she mused aloud. "They never considered we might choose different paths deliberately." The intelligence gathered would prove invaluable. Alliance fleet movements, technological capabilities, and most importantly, their invasion plans, all acquired without firing a shot. But Maya knew the real victory was deeper than mere information. "Message from Earth Command," Zhang announced. "They've reviewed our preliminary transmission. Operation Silent Strike is confirmed as a success. We're to proceed with Phase 3 preparation." Maya felt a mix of pride and concern. The Alliance would eventually realize they'd been compromised, but by then, humanity would be ready. The Whispers had already been seeded throughout Alliance space by other stealth ships, gathering intelligence and slowly undermining their operations. "Plot a course home, Lieutenant," she ordered, "and prepare a full tactical analysis. Earth Command will want to know every detail of how their overconfidence can be used against them." The Shadowhawk slipped away as silently as it had arrived, leaving behind no trace of its presence. In the coming weeks, the Alliance would begin noticing small problems throughout their operations. Nothing major, just enough to introduce doubt and confusion into their carefully laid plans. Humanity had proven once again that true strength didn't always require overwhelming force. Sometimes, the quietest victories were the most decisive. As Maya prepared her report, she couldn't help but wonder how the Alliance would react when they finally realized just how thoroughly they'd been outmaneuvered by the primitive humans they'd so gravely underestimated. The Grand Assembly of the Galactic Conclave wasn't designed to accommodate humans. Ambassador David Kumar sat in a chair modified for his species, surrounded by representatives from 200 alien civilizations. Above them all, the massive holographic display showed what everyone had come to see: footage of a Nexus Alliance dreadnought being systematically dismantled by ships that shouldn't exist. "As you can see," David stated calmly, his translator converting his words into the standard frequencies used by the Conclave, "the Nexus Alliance's recent military actions have been less than successful." The chamber buzzed with the equivalent of murmurs from various species. The Nexus Alliance's representative, a crystalline being named Zar-Ith, vibrated with barely contained fury. "These recordings are fabricated," Zar-Ith insisted. "No primitive species could defeat our most advanced warships." David smiled, the expression carefully calculated to show just enough teeth to make several species uncomfortable. "Would you prefer we share the tactical data from your failed invasion fleet? The one that attempted to breach the Sol system's defenses last week?" The chamber erupted in communication signals. The Nexus Alliance had kept that defeat quiet, hoping to maintain their image of invincibility. Now, their secrets were being exposed before the entire Conclave. "The humans deploy technological abominations," Zar-Ith accused. quantum biological hybrid computers that violate natural laws, weapons that ignore standard defense protocols. We call it innovation, David corrected. Your civilization has followed a single technological path for so long, you've forgotten there are other ways to solve problems. The archival mind, an ancient AI that served as the conclave's historian, projected itself into the center of the chamber. Its form shifted through various species as it spoke, a reminder of its impartial nature. The human approach is unprecedented, it stated. While most species advance along predictable technological paths, humanity has developed parallel technologies based on different fundamental principles. Their military doctrine combines these divergent approaches in ways that make their responses difficult to predict. David nodded in acknowledgement. The archival mind had been one of the first to recognize the unique threat and opportunity that humanity represented. While the Nexus Alliance had dismissed humans as primitives, the ancient AI had seen the pattern of a species that had developed in isolation, finding unique solutions to universal problems. We come before the conclave not to boast of military victories, David continued, but to propose a new way forward. The Nexus Alliance's aggression has demonstrated the vulnerability of current defensive protocols. We offer our expertise in developing complementary systems. The chamber filled with the equivalent of skeptical laughter from multiple species. A massive gas-based entity floated forward, its thoughts translated into standard frequencies. Your species has barely mastered interplanetary travel, it observed. What could you possibly offer the established powers of the galaxy? David activated his neural interface, projecting a new set of images above the chamber. They showed human ships working alongside vessels from smaller galactic nations, protecting trade routes and colonial outposts. In the past month, piracy along the Orion trade routes has decreased by 60%, he stated, not through overwhelming force, but through the application of human defensive doctrines and hybrid technologies. Ask your merchant fleets if they care about the primitive nature of their protectors. The gas entity pulsed in what might have been grudging acknowledgement. Several other representatives began sharing data, confirming the human claims. The Nexus Alliance's representatives seemed to shrink in their elevated position. The galaxy is changing, David continued. The old hierarchies of technological advancement are proving less relevant than adaptability and innovation. Humanity doesn't seek to dominate or impose our methods. We offer partnership, combining our unique approaches with your established technologies. The archival mind's form settled into a rough approximation of a human shape. The conclave must consider this offer carefully. Humanity's development suggests our current understanding of technological progression may be incomplete. As the debate continued, David received a private message through his neural interface. The Shadowhawk had detected another Alliance fleet massing at the edge of explored space. But this time, they weren't alone. Ships from a dozen other species were moving to intercept, using human-designed sensor masks and unconventional tactics. The Alliance must be held accountable for its acts of aggression. A multidimensional being announced, its thoughts rippling through the chamber. We propose a formal investigation into their recent military activities. David watched as the political balance of the galaxy shifted before his eyes. Humanity hadn't just defeated the Alliance militarily. They had shattered the technological hierarchy that had kept smaller nations in check for millennia. The Nexus Alliance representative tried one final gambit. You would trust these humans. They think like predators, always preparing for war. We prepare for war, David corrected, precisely so we can work for peace. Your mistake was assuming that because we took a different path, we were walking backward. In truth, we were simply exploring territory you had never thought to visit. As the conclave moved to vote on the human proposals, David reflected on how far they had come. Humanity had entered the galactic stage through conflict, but they would help reshape it through innovation and cooperation. The universe was vast and full of wonders, and humanity was finally ready to help explore them all. Admiral Sarah Chen stood in the command center of Olympus Station, watching as the massive hangar doors parted to reveal humanity's greatest secret, The asteroid belt facility had been under construction since before first contact, its existence hidden even from most of Earth's government. "The Prometheus fleet," she said softly, as the massive ships came into view. Each vessel represented a different approach to space warfare, combining human ingenuity with lessons learned from their recent encounters. "Incoming transmission from the Conclave Emergency Channel," Lieutenant Rodriguez announced, his voice tense. "Multiple Alliance fleets have broken containment. They're hitting civilian worlds across 3 sectors." Sarah had been expecting this. The Nexus Alliance, humiliated by their defeats and losing influence in the Conclave, had chosen to lash out. What they didn't know was that humanity had prepared for exactly this scenario. "Status of Operation Lightbringer?" she asked, watching as crew shuttles rushed to their assigned vessels. "All ships report ready," Rodriguez confirmed. "The Conclave Defense Forces are engaging the Alliance, but they're using conventional tactics. They're being torn apart." Sarah nodded grimly. The Alliance had finally revealed their true capabilities, deploying weapons and technologies they'd kept hidden for centuries. Against traditional defenses, they were nearly unstoppable. "Signal the fleet," she ordered. "Initiate deployment sequence Alpha, and get me a channel to Ambassador Kumar at the Conclave." The Prometheus fleet began moving out of their docking bays. Leading the formation was the Hyperion. It hull incorporating crystalline technology reverse-engineered from captured Alliance vessels. Behind it came the Helios, whose biological computers made it nearly invisible to standard detection systems. "Channel open to the Conclave," Rodriguez reported. David Kumar's hologram appeared, his normally composed demeanor showing signs of stress. "Admiral, the situation is deteriorating. The Alliance isn't just attacking military targets, they're targeting civilian population centers." "Understood, Ambassador. The Prometheus fleet is deploying now." "Have any friendly forces survived in the affected sectors?" "Several species managed to evacuate their defense fleets before they could be trapped. They're regrouping at the coordinates I'm sending now." Sarah studied the tactical display as new data streamed in. The Alliance had committed nearly their entire military to this operation, believing they could crush all resistance before humanity could intervene. "Signal all ships," she commanded. "Initiate jump sequence using the new drive systems. Let's show the Alliance why underestimating humanity was their last mistake." The Prometheus fleet engaged their engines, using technology that combined human theoretical physics with practical applications no other species had considered. Instead of conventional faster-than-light travel, they slipped through the quantum foam of space itself, emerging directly in the combat zones. "First reports coming in," Rodriguez announced. "Alliance forces are in chaos. They'd never seen ships appear without using standard jump points." The battle unfolded across multiple star systems. The Hyperion led a direct assault on Alliance capital ships, its hybrid weapons bypassing their supposedly impenetrable shields. The Helios and its sister ships struck from unexpected vectors, their biological computers allowing them to coordinate in ways the Alliance's rigid command structure couldn't match. "Message from the archival mind," Rodriguez reported. "It's broadcasting tactical data from ancient conflicts, showing patterns in Alliance strategy they've maintained for millennia." Sarah smiled. The ancient AI had recognized that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology, but their ability to adapt and innovate. By combining this historical knowledge with their unconventional tactics, they could predict and counter Alliance movements before they happened. "The Vega sector is clear," Rodriguez announced. "Alliance forces are in full retreat. The Arcturus Defense Fleet is reporting similar success using our tactical protocols." On the main display, Sarah watched as the true scale of the operation became clear. The Alliance had expected to face a handful of human ships supported by demoralized Conclave forces. Instead, they found themselves fighting an enemy that could appear anywhere, strike from any angle, and counter their every move. "Admiral," Kumar's hologram interrupted, "the Conclave Council is convening an emergency session. They're requesting Earth's presence, not as petitioners, but as full members with emergency military authority. Sarah nodded. This was the moment humanity had prepared for, not just to defend themselves, but to help reshape the galaxy's power structure. The Alliance's attempt to reassert their dominance had instead revealed the full extent of human capabilities. "Send word to Earth Command," she ordered. "Tell them the hidden fleet is now fully engaged. And Ambassador, tell the Conclave that humanity accepts their offer. It's time to build something new." As the battle continued across the stars, Sarah reflected on how far they'd come. Humanity had entered the galactic stage prepared for the worst while hoping for the best. Now they would help forge a new order, one based not on technological superiority, but on innovation, cooperation, and the strength that comes from embracing different paths to the same goals. The Prometheus fleet continued its advance, each ship a testament to human ingenuity and determination. The galaxy was changing, and humanity would help guide that change, not through conquest or dominance, but through the same adaptability and resilience that had brought them to the stars. The combined fleet hung in orbit around the crystalline homeworld of the Nexus Alliance, a gathering of ships unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Human vessels flew alongside organic ships of the Meridian Collective, their hybrid technologies working in perfect synchronization. The ancient Guardian-class vessels of the Archival Mind provided support, while smaller craft from dozens of formerly subjugated species maintained the blockade. Commander Maya Patel stood on the bridge of the UES Shadowhawk, which now served as the fleet's coordination center. Its unique quantum biological computers had proven ideal for integrating the diverse technologies and tactics of their coalition. "The Alliance leadership is requesting terms," reported Lieutenant Zhang. "They're finally ready to talk." Maya exchanged looks with Ambassador Kumar and Admiral Chen, who had joined her for this historic moment. The Alliance's attempt to reassert dominance had failed spectacularly, their supposedly invincible fleets outmaneuvered and defeated by the combined forces of species they had long dismissed as inferior. "Put them through," Maya ordered. "All channels, full transparency. The galaxy needs to witness this." The holographic display came to life, showing the Alliance's high command, crystalline beings whose faceted forms had once inspired awe and fear across known space. Now they seemed diminished, their bright surfaces dulled by defeat. "You have proven your point," the Alliance leader stated, their translator conveying a mix of resignation and bitterness. "We acknowledge your military superiority." "No," Admiral Chen interrupted. "You still don't understand. This isn't about superiority. Look at the fleet surrounding your world. Every ship out there represents a different approach to the same challenges. We're not here to replace one hierarchy with another." Ambassador Kumar stepped forward. "The Conclave has approved a new charter, one that recognizes the value of diverse technological and cultural approaches. The age of measuring civilization by adherence to a single development path is over." The Alliance leaders shifted in what might have been discomfort. "And what role do you envision for us in this new order?" "That depends on you," Maya replied. "Your technologies, your understanding of crystalline computing, these are valuable contributions to galactic knowledge. But they must be shared and combined with other approaches, not used as weapons of dominance." The main display split to show various scenes from across the galaxy. Former Alliance client states were already adopting hybrid technologies, combining their traditional methods with human innovations and biological computing from other species. Trade routes once controlled by Alliance warships now saw mixed patrol groups, each bringing their unique capabilities to the task of maintaining peace. "The Archival Mind has confirmed our analysis," Kumar continued. "Civilizations that embrace multiple technological paths show significantly higher rates of advancement and stability. The Alliance's stagnation wasn't due to reaching the pinnacle of development. It was because you stopped exploring alternatives." Something shifted in the Alliance leader's crystalline structure, perhaps the first glimmer of understanding, and humanity's role in this new arrangement. Admiral Chen smiled. "We're doing what humans have always done. Adapting, combining different approaches, finding new ways to solve old problems. The Prometheus fleet wasn't built to conquer, but to protect and connect. Maya activated a new holographic display, showing the construction of massive structures in neutral space, research centers, diplomatic hubs, and cultural exchange facilities. These are the fruits of cooperation. Alliance crystalline technology combined with human quantum theory and biological computing from the Meridian Collective. Together, we're achieving things none of us could have managed alone. The Alliance leaders conferred among themselves before responding. The terms of our surrender. Not surrender, Kumar corrected. Partnership. Your fleet commanders have already seen how effectively their ships perform when integrated with hybrid tactical systems. Imagine applying that same principle to peaceful endeavors. The discussion continued for hours, working out the details of the transition. The Alliance would maintain autonomy over their worlds but would open their technological archives to the new Galactic Exchange, a collaborative body where different species could share and combine their unique approaches to science and engineering. As the final agreements were being formalized, Maya received a private message from the archival mind. Its analysis suggested that this new era of technological cross-pollination would advance galactic civilization more in the next century than the previous millennium of isolated development. A final matter, the Alliance leader said. Our archives contain references to other aggressive species beyond known space. We've monitored them for centuries but never considered them a serious threat. Share the data, Chen replied. We'll face those challenges together, combining our strengths rather than measuring them against each other. Maya looked out at the combined fleet, each ship a testament to what could be achieved through cooperation and open-minded innovation. Humanity had entered the galactic stage prepared for war, but had helped forge peace instead, not through dominance, but through the simple human traits of adaptability, creativity, and the willingness to try new approaches. The galaxy was entering a new age, one where progress would be measured not by adherence to a single path, but by the ability to explore many paths simultaneously. As the Allied ships began integrating with the combined fleet, Maya reflected that this might be humanity's greatest contribution to the stars, not their technology or their military prowess, but their fundamental understanding that there was always another way, always another solution waiting to be discovered. The future stretched out before them, vast and full of possibilities. And for the first time in galactic history, those possibilities would be explored not by competing civilizations, but by species standing together, each contributing their unique perspective to the greatest journey of all, the endless quest for knowledge and understanding among the stars.